If you're a Norwegian and you don't at least know how to ski, you're a black sheep. Being on those skis in the snow is something that every Norwegian has ingrained in their blood, it seems like. They don't necessarily go out of their way to have something big. Instead of, going bigger, they just go nice. Have nice things instead of, like America, they always make fun of us for having everything that's supersized. I've never been in a modern city in Norway that's dirty. Norwegians respect their cities and they always go out of their way to pick up trash that they see on the ground. And so you'd be walking around and it's amazing to think how many people are in the city at one time, and it's practically spotless.
They have a dish, a traditional Christmas dish called lutefisk. And it's like a fish that's cooked in, like, you let it sit and ferment for a while and it gets like jello-y, and then you put it in the oven. And so like when you like touch it, it like jiggles back and forth like jello, and I thought it was disgusting. I couldn't eat a whole lot of it, but they put like bacon on it and it makes it a little better, but it's super salty and just not a texture that I like. Reindeer was really good. The whale was a little weird. One of the coolest things about Norway is in the summer, when you go to bed at night, it still looks like it's about 5 o'clock in the evening, and when you wake up in the morning, it looks like it's noon because the sun just kind of goes all the way around you because it's so far north. But the bad part is in the winter, it's the exact opposite, where sometimes you only get 3-4 hours of sunlight. There's wild berries that grow just everywhere that are good to eat, and the water's all super clean that you can drink anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. Strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, they're just everywhere. I've heard of the snow being so high, like higher than the cars on the side of the roads up further north. I never got to actually see that. In the north, the northern lights you get to see like every night, and just moving across the sky, and you're just like walking around in it, and it's amazing. Norway is a very rich country. There's virtually zero poverty there. You'll hardly ever see homeless people. If the people don't have a home, basically the government will get them in a home and help them out until they can get a job and working.
They get paid a lot more in Norway too for doing manual labor and for doing everything else. One of my friends from my last areas is coming over, to spend about a month vacation in the US, and he's working as a grocery store clerk, and he's making a ton of money doing that. And, he can afford to come to the United States for a month just off of his grocery store clerk salary.
My favorite way to travel in Oslo was with the bysykler, which are the city bikes. And we could get anywhere the most quickly with those city bikes, where they have a certain station that you would use a card and unlock the bike to wherever you needed, and there'd be another station waiting there, and you would just lock your bike there. And it would register that you had taken your bike and then delivered it somewhere else, so you weren't stealing it. And a lot of people used that system, and it worked very, very well for us. When it comes to crime and safety in Norway, it is one of the safest countries out there. Norwegians themselves believe very strongly against violence in general, and so you can be very severely prosecuted for performing any kind of violent act at all. They take it very, very seriously there. I recall, just like a little girl just walking past, just playing in the snow by herself in the middle of the night. That would never happen in Southern California, where I'm from. And so it was a very big surprise to me just how safe it was. They take advantage of their vacations quite a bit, which is great. And I would be so surprised that they could still live their lifestyle and be gone for 3 to 6 weeks. But they'd go with their families and just have the best time of their lives wherever they were. They typically celebrate Easter for a whole entire week. They have a week off of school and work to go to their hytte, which is their cabin up in the mountains, where they would go as a family and go skiing and hiking and enjoy the sun that had just come up after the long dark winter. They would normally have these candy bars during that time called Kvikk Lunsj. The closest thing I can compare it to is an American Kit Kat bar. And whenever you open them, on the inside of the wrapper, they have hikes. And so you could explore the different hikes that they were telling you about in Norway.
They use their utensils differently. I think in America, we just kind of scoop everything and just shovel it in our mouths, but they're very precise and they hold the fork with the left hand. This might be just kind of the older generation, but I learned to do it because it's really respectful. With your left hand, you hold the fork, and with your right hand, you cut the meat or whatever you're eating. And then so often they keep the fork like upside down, and they would pile, like if you have like a sauce, or sometimes they'll serve like these like smashed peas, they'll scoop it on top of the meat or whatever you've cut, so it's like all in a pile, and you have to carefully put it in your mouth.